Hi, welcome to the tutorial for the midterm practice for the CST336 Internet Programming class. Okay, so what we want to do is have this mock storefront webpage where we will generate a random product from our database, display the unit price, and then when the user enters in the quantity, we have to calculate the total along with the subtotal, the tax, and the complete total. This dropdown should also be populated with all the product from our database, where the user will be able to click one and the unit price will be adjusted automatically here. A promo code should also be generated on page load that will set a discount and will change the totals appropriately. The user can also enter in their own promo code to change this discount amount, where once again all these totals will be adjusted automatically. Okay. So I took the liberty here to already set up my basic HTML. I have my Bootstrap and jQuery stuff. I also added some of my own custom styles just to center and adjust the margins of the table. So you can see here that I have my tables, my table rows, my data. Let me run this so you can see what it looks like. Great. So right now it doesn't look like much. There's only one row. Nothing happens on quantity, nothing happens on the promo code. It's just simple HTML. The first thing we have to do before we start to write our JavaScript is we have to set up our database. Now there's this midterm.sql file that we're going to download. We're going to open it. Okay, and so this is the SQL data. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to Cloud9. And we are going to go to phpMyAdmin. There we go. Great. Okay, so first we have to create a new database. Let's call this one just midterm. Awesome. Okay, great. So now we are going to graph our data. Actually, just control command A. And we're going to put it here. Alright, don't worry about that. If you refresh it, should be fine. Yeah, it should be fine. Great. So now we have our tables and all our data. Great. So now we can get started. Let's go back to... awesome. First, let's make sure that our file structure is the way that we want it. So I'm going to make a new folder here. And I'm going to name this API. All capital letters API. And inside here, I'm going to start a new file. And I'm going to call this dbconnection.php. Okay, great. So this is going to be a PHP file. No, not that. Okay. Okay, so here I need to define the name of my database, my username, my password, and the host. So let's start with the host. Oops. So let's go host is equal to... Now, since it's just on Cloud9, we're just going to call this localhost. Now comes the database name. Do you remember what we called it? We called it just midterm. And finally, your respective username and password. So here, my username is just root, and the password is simply empty, no password. Now we need to create the database connection. So I have this here just on my clipboard, so I'm just going to paste it in. But essentially what this does is it creates a PDO object with the host, the DB name, the username, and the password. Make sure that there is no space in between this string. There should be no space at all. Alright, great. We're essentially done. All we need to do now is return this DB connection. Oh, and make sure it's a function. Function get DB connection. Sorry about that. There we go. Okay, great. So this will let us get our data from our database. Let's see if it works. Let's save this and let's go back to our midterm. Okay, so first things first, once I made my DB connection, I'm gonna start another file, and I'm gonna call this get products, not PHP. Okay, so once again, this is gonna be a PHP file. So now we're gonna include the function that we just wrote. So we have to include the file first, called dbconnection.php. And we're gonna set that connection to a variable called db. Alright, great. Now we're going to start writing our SQL query. So we're going to create a new variable to start our SQL string. So we're going to do a select, and we want everything from, what was my table name called? Oh, it's called MP product. We're going to use MP product, and that's it. Just select star from MP product. Great. Now we're going to create a statement, and we're going to use our DB, and we're going to use the prepare with the SQL string inside. There's no data to pass in, so we're just going to do statement execute with nothing inside. Then we're going to go results equals statement, and we're going to fetch all. Great, and then what we need to do is just echo them out as JSON encode results. Great. And so that's it. That's done. We're done with our get products API. So the way to verify this is to run it from here. So let's click on this link and let's open it. And yep, and all our products that were in our database, we got here. Alright, so that looks great. Alright, so now we can go ahead and use this function inside of our main page. But I think it's better if we create all of our APIs first. So let's go in and make a new file. We'll call this one get random product. Alright, so what we're going to do here is, actually we're going to just copy this code and paste it here. And this is pretty much going to do the same thing, except this time we're just going to create a random index. I'm going to set this equal to, and rand takes in a starting and an ending index. So we're going to go from 0 to, and we're going to use the size of function, the size of results. And then when we return this, all we're going to do is just return a specific random index. Great, so like we did before, let's try running this file and see what we get. Alright, perfect. So let's refresh, and we should see that every time we refresh, we should get a different random product. Oh, no. You know what? I think it's probably because of this. I think it's inclusive and there is no last result. Yeah, that might be it. Yeah, okay, great. That looks good. Awesome. Now let's do the promo code API. So same thing, we're going to create a new file, get random promo, and like the other time, we're going to copy this. It's going to be the exact same thing, except this time we're not going to go from MP product, right? We're going to use the MP codes table. And so when we run this, we should see a random promo code every time. Yep, here we go. Summer 30, sunny, half price. Yeah, so we verified that it works. Alright, so that's enough for us to get started with. Let's go back to our main page here. Okay, so let's go back to the way that it looks. Oh, not that one. Sorry. Okay, great. So we want this to be populated as soon as the page loads. So what we're going to do is right after everything loads, here after the body, we're going to create a script. No source. So let's start writing our Ajax here. We can go .ajax. Oh, and if you don't want to have this bother you, you can just add the global here and it'll go away. Okay, so now we need all of the Ajax things. Okay, so that is the type. Here we're just going to do a post. The URL, so this is going to be the random product. So we're going to link to that. Get random product.php. Oh, and it's inside of the API folder. So we're going to go API / there we go. And then finally, there's no data, so we're just going to do success. Let's say a function. Okay, great. So now in here, once we get our data back, we can iterate through the data and then, oh sorry, no, this is for get random. So all we have to do is just get one object and display it in our table. So let's do that. The name of the item here is product name. So we're going to use jQuery to grab that ID. And inside here, we're going to do an A tag. And we're going to link it to data dot, sorry, actually let's close this. And then data dot, I believe it's name, let me check real quick. Product name. Okay, product name. There we go. What's it telling me? Oh, that's right. Great, let's see if it works. Oh, we got an undefined. Why's that? Let's go to our inspect. Let's look at our network tab and let's refresh. Oh, I know why. So, as you look at here, it looks like we're getting the right thing, except for some reason, it's just a simple string. So we have to make sure that we say data type is a JSON. Perfect. Now it should work. Yep, and every time we refresh, we should get a different product right there. Perfect. Awesome. Now let's check what I named the price. So it's just called price. So we're gonna make a new jQuery selection, this time with price. I'm gonna set the HTML equal to just let me see what it's called here. Product price. Okay, great. Let's see if it works now. Awesome. That looks great. Just for a aesthetic point here, I'm gonna just add this like that. Now it looks more refined. Perfect. Now I didn't create the next row of my table, so I'm just going to copy this row right here, paste it there, and take off some of these IDs. So in the first row, we want a select, and let's give this an ID. Let's take off, or let's say here, select price and ID. Let's take off this ID for now. So let's look at what it looks like here. Okay, that seems like what we want. So let's go back. Now we're gonna need another AJAX call. So I'm just gonna copy this. It's gonna be the same thing. However, this time, instead of get random product, it's just gonna be get products. Okay, now this is gonna be a little bit different. For get products, we're gonna just print it to the console and see what we get. So let's go to console and let's refresh. So as you can see, here we're getting a lot of different kinds of products. And so we can't just do the same thing that we did for just data.product, data.product price. We can't do the same thing because here it was just one object. Here it's a list of objects. We're going to use a function called for each. So we're going to go data.forEach. And what this will do is to iterate over every element inside the data. We need to give it a function for it to act on. So we're going to define one here. We're going to pass in a product to this function. Now here, we're going to grab the, what did I call it? Product select. Okay. And actually, you know what? Here, I'm going to add in an option so that it's not blank. And I'm just going to go option value equals 0. And I'm going to say select 1. Great. And I said that I called it product select. So in that here, I'm going to grab that product select. There it is. Okay, great. So I'm going to grab this product select, and instead of just doing HTML, I'm going to write append. So the reason why I'm not doing HTML is because HTML overwrites whatever is inside. So this means that every time I want to push something new in here, it will just overwrite the older one. That's not what I want to do. I just want to keep adding the products as they're coming along. So append is what I'm going to use here. And so I'm going to append just a simple HTML. So option. And then here actually I'm going to write value equals. And here I'm going to grab the product ID. So I'm going to say that the value is equal to the product dot product ID. And so the reason why I'm using product instead of data is because of this function here where I define product as the single object value I'm passing in. So now I can continue. Sorry, plus. Then I can end that option. And then inside here, I'm going to say product dot product name. And then once again, end my in my options. Okay, that looks good. Let's see if it works. Let's refresh. Yeah, it seems like it works. Great. So now when we select one, we want this unit price to be updated as soon as we select it. And so to do that, we're probably going to either have to do an Ajax or store our values in here somewhere. So let's go back and let's now create a onChange jQuery so that this can get updated when this changes. And since there's no need to do anything with the product ID, I'm actually just gonna set the value as the product price instead, so I don't have to do another Ajax call. Great, so now on jQuery, I'm gonna grab the product select, and I'm gonna say on that, whenever that changes, I'm gonna run this function. So just to see what I'm working with, I'm gonna console log, and I'm gonna grab this right here, so this will grab my element, and I'm gonna say val. So this should print out the value, which is here the price of the respective product. So let's see if it works. Alright, so we get a random product. Now we're gonna pick one. We got 229 for that one, 1945, 899. It looks like it's working. Great. So now we can go and use this as a write-in for, oops, too far. As a write-in for this spot right here. So let's look at what I called this spot. Cut it, select price. So let's do another jQuery, and we're going to say we're going to say .html. Great, and that should work. Let's test it out. Yeah, it looks like it's working. Awesome. And let's add the little $sign just to make it look nice. Yep, awesome. Now let's do the random promo code. I'm gonna copy this Ajax right here, or actually this one with the get random product because it's similar to that. I'm gonna paste it here. Okay, and this is gonna be similar to this, except however I've realized that my promo code is down here, so I'm gonna need to grab the text box location and set a promo code right here, the way that it shows up on the example. So let's see, do we have an ID on that text box? Yes, we do. It's called promo. So now instead of saying product name, we can just do promo. And instead of get random product, now it's get random promo. And let's go look at the promo data real quick. So this is promo code is the name, and discount is the amount of discount and the expiration date. So instead it's going to be just promo code. Oh, and it won't be the HTML, it'll be dot val equals just data.promo. Not equal, sorry, this is a function. Promo code we said it was. And we don't need this. However, we do need to update this discount right here. So let's go to see if we have an ID on there. We do, we have discount percent. Okay, so let's go down here. So this is now going to be called discount percent. And this is just going to be data.discount. And it's just data.discount because that's the name of the discount right here. Let's add a little percent here. So let's see if it works. Great, that looks good. Okay, awesome. Now it looks like all that we need to do is make sure that our code calculates the prices correctly and outputs the total here. So this should probably be activated as soon as the user enters a number like that. It should be activated here and here. Let's go back and look at our quantity. So the quantity looks like this. Not that one. This one right here. So we have an ID quantity. The size limits are, the size is just the size of the text box. Okay, so what we want to do is now when that changes, we want to have we want to grab the price and the quantity and now put it to the total. So we want to make sure that we're able to grab the value in here. So to do that, we're going to check the ID, which is just price. So we can grab that price by calling the element in jQuery. Now we can say .text. However, this will come back as a text, including this little $sign. And we can't use it like that as a number to compute the price. There's lots of ways to do this, but I want to say that the easiest way by far is to use the substring function, or the split function, sorry. So in order to verify, we're going to console log, and we're going to use the price. We're going to grab the text of the price. Into the text, we're going to use the split. Or not split, splice, sorry. And so slice, what that's going to do is slice needs a to and a from. However, it also accepts just a single value. So if you put a single value, it'll start from that index, inclusive. So in order to get rid of the dollar sign, we can just do 1. And when we refresh, we should get whatever is inside here. So let's try once again. Something that's not Smash Bros. Yeah, great. Perfect. Okay, so now using this, we can grab the element that is the total, which is total product. And we can do .html. Oops, I forgot the right quote. And we can do quick dollar sign. Now, actually, I think it's better if I put this outside so it's easier to understand. So we can say let price string equal to this, and then we're going to do let price equal to. Now, since it's in text, we need to be able to convert it to a number to be able to do multiplication with it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go parse float and then price string. And then inside here, all we're just going to do is price, let's put parentheses around this, times the quantity, dollar sign, quantity, dot, val. Alright, to make this a little bit easier, I'm just going to copy this instead and put it over here. That should make it a little bit more easier to read. And now here we just do total. So we started off with the text. We got rid of the dollar sign. We converted it to a float. And then we just multiplied the price, right, that float, times the value of the text box, which in this case should be just the quantity. And so when we do this, we should come out with a really big number. Okay, yeah, so let's try something that has some type of decimal here. Please give me something with a decimal. Yeah, okay, great. This should be good. So times 3, so when we move away, it should be exactly what it is. Perfect. So we're getting very close. Now we're going to do essentially the same thing for this one, right? Oops, sorry. Let's go back. So this is going to be essentially the same thing. So I'm going to copy this. Instead of quantity, this time it's going to be I don't believe. Okay, so this has the same ID. That should not be. So I'm going to name this select quantity. So now this is going to be select quantity. and it's going to be the same exact thing, except instead of price, it's going to be the select price. And then this total product is going to be just select the input. This should have a ID of selected total. So selected total is going to be equal to the total of all of this. Now we're very close to being done. We're generating a random product. We're calculating the total. We can select whatever we want. We can also calculate this one now. Now all we need is to apply the discount and grab the subtotal, the tax, and the total. Since it looks like I might be doing that a lot, I'm just going to create a function that does it just once here and then call this function every time I need to do it. So we're going to say calculate total, function calculate total. Okay, great. So now in here, what we want to do is to grab these total right here. So I don't want to have to do it separately. So I'm actually going to go to the total cell, like the total product, and just give this a class. Okay, so I gave the totals a class. So now I can grab them by their class. So instead of hashtag, now it's dot, and I can just say total. This will give me all of the elements, all of the total class elements. Then I can use the each function, and then inside here I can do the exact same thing that I've been doing, which is this. Let's copy this and let's paste it over here. Okay. Now I don't need this .text. Now I can just go. Oh, I need to pass in the element here. So I'm just going to go element. So I'm going to say element .text. And there we go. Actually, I don't even need these last two lines anymore. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to define a subtotal up here that is equal to 0 and just say subtotal plus equals the price. And so at the end, when I run this function, and I do console.log subtotal, I should get my total amount. So let's call this function inside our dot change. So calculate total and calculate total. Let's see if it works. Oh, element.text is not a function. Okay, so let's see. I don't think you need element, and instead of element, I think it's just we still need to use jQuery. It just has to be this. Okay, so this.text, parse float, price string, that should work out. Let's see it. Perfect. Oh, but why we're getting nan, which means not a number, and I think it's because this wasn't set. So yeah, so once we set it, it gives us both of them. So to fix that, let's add an if statement here that says if is nan price. If not is nan price, then we can do subtotal plus equals price. Let's see now if it works. Great, so now we get 214, and even if we don't put that, it still gives us 214. This should not appear, but that's because we haven't set this right here. Gotta make sure that this is set first, and it should be okay. Great. Okay, cool. Now instead of console logging, we can just put it in the subtotal. So subtotal is just hashtag subtotal. No. HTML. And HTML is now the subtotal. Great. Now we have that there, and then if we pick something here, do that. Oh, we gotta make sure that we tell it to only use 2 digits. So we can go back in here, and instead of just doing subtotal, we can do 2 fixed, I believe it's called. You can use subtotal and then the number of significant digits that we want. Wait, sorry, my bad. It's the other way around. This is supposed to be subtotal dot 2 fixed. Yeah, there we go. With 2. Great. Now we try the same thing again. Oh, I need to do it there too. But this one will always now be just 2. So let's do it with the other ones too. Subtotal dot 2 fixed. Total dot 2 fixed. Oh, not comma, dot. 2 fixed. There we go. Great. Now we'll never have that issue. Great. And you even get the 00 here, which is exactly what we want. Perfect. Alright. Great. So now we got the total. Now we need to make sure that we also get the discount here. So the discount ID is discount percent. So let's grab that discount percent. And we're going to grab the text of that, and we're going to split it, or not split, sorry, slice. And then we're going to go to, or not to, it's parse. So all of this should be inside a parse float. Hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, you can separate this out, but I just like to do it all in one line here. Then we're going to set this to a discount. And actually what I'm going to do is divide by 100 here to convert this into a decimal. That way I can go discount amount is equal to the discount times the subtotal price. Okay. Great. Now inside of this discount box right here, inside of this discount box, I can just do discount. I'm sorry, not subtotal, discount amount. And I'm going to do the same thing to fixed, just so that everything is consistent. And I'm going to just add a little minus to indicate that it is subtracting. Let's try it again. So I want 2 of these. The 25% discount is $22. Get an iPhone. I want 3 of these, and a 25% discount of 3,155 is 157. Alright. Okay. Cool. Sorry. The discount didn't seem right, so I did some testing, and we had done a split here. There's no need to split because there's no number, or there's no parenthesis, or sorry, dollar sign in front of the discount. So there's no need to do any split. Just text divided by 100 works just fine. So fix that. And I did a bunch of testing just to figure it out that I didn't need to split. Sorry about that. Okay. So now we have a good working website. So, right. So our subtotal here is 1,597. And so 1,597 subtracted by 30%. Right, so that would be times 0.3 to get the discount, which is 479. And then we also need to calculate the tax, so we can do that in the function as well. Let's look at the directions real quick. So it looks like the tax should be, the discount should get applied before the subtotal, so we can do that. And the tax is calculated on the subtotal. Okay, so we can move our statements around here. So let's put the discount first, and then before we do subtotal, we can grab this, we can put it here. And now the discount should get put first, and then we can do the subtotal. Let's do subtotal here, minus the discount amount, and then let's do dot to fixed. Great. So that means that the discount should apply first. Yep, that looks good. The discount should apply first. That deducts 26 from 107. Yep, and we get $80. Great. So now let's calculate the tax. The tax now is, so this seems that I need to save this somewhere so I can calculate the tax. So total, so I need to let after discount, and that is equal to this. So the subtotal minus the discount amount. And here I can now do after a discount. And now I can do let tax is equal to after a discount times 0.1. And then I can place that tax right here. So just tax. So let's put a little dollar sign and then let's do tax. Oh, what seems to be the problem here? Unexpected token. This one. There we go. Okay. So plus tax. And now finally, now that I got the tax, I can finally calculate the total. So let's do that. Total dot HTML. And then finally, it's going to be tax plus after discount. Let's do a dot to fix 2. And there we have it. Let's test it one more time. Okay, so I want to get 2 of these. Oh, let's make sure that the tax also has a to fix. Great. So 1,798. So the discount is $8.99. Right, because I'm buying 2 at a 50% discount. That's the same thing as buying 1. The tax is $89, which gets added to this. Now let's say I want something else. Let's say I want an Apple Pencil. Or let's get something with something with more sense. There we go. Okay, cool. So now when we do this, 4076 minus 919, which comes out to 1,011.32. Okay, now the only thing now is to make these all match, so let's add in some dollar sign, the subtotal, and the total. The subtotal right here. So let's put a little guy. There we go. And then in the total. Okay. Now the last thing we have to do, according to directions, is pasting all the promo code stuff and letting the user enter a promo code. Now, actually, I'll leave that up to the students. I can help if you wish, but I would suggest that when you come meet me, you should at least have attempted it. Anyway, thank you so much for coding along with me, and I'll see you next time.